And ladies and gentlemen, we're back to SSG. I'm not saying the name, but we've just got done watching the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Now, you won't believe what we think of it.
Oh, clickbait.
uh, so just to set things straight with a disclaimer there, this is technically a two-parter. Destructicon here won the last 2 weeks of SSG, and he was like, I really want to see Justice League. Batman's my thing, Superman's my buddy. So he decided to split it up into two parts. We watched it into two parts. Too many if you ask me, and now we're here to tell you what we think about it. So since you chose it, Izzy, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start it. I think I didn't like it. It was too long. For one, it was too long. But coming into it, I was like, it released. All the hype was like, oh my god, so good, amazing, like 10 out of 10, much better than the original. I came in wanting to like it, and I liked Zack Snyder's like artistic stuff, like mainly because it's just like fun action, but not
Slow-mos?
because it's I like the slow mos. I think there's some too much slow mo,
I think there's two.
but
Fun
yeah, but
fact. Fun fact. Somebody timed it, and it's about 24 minutes and 7 seconds of slow mo. I didn't
yeah.
just look that up right now. I promise you, but it equates to about 10% of the movie without counting the credits.
It's a lot. Like I wanted to like the movie, but just going into it, like a lot of the scenes, the music unnecessary. Like a sad scene, sad song. Put some violin on there. You got to make sure they know, right? Like serious scene, sad scene, serious scene, sad scene, comedy, and like I just felt like everything was like just thrown together. Like the CG was bad, and maybe it's hard time, right? Maybe it's the COVID
It's
stuff
hard
and
time.
everything. Yeah, like people are like struggling, but like a lot of the scenes, it just felt like I was watching some guy with a green screen in the back, and you can clearly tell where the set was and where all the green screen was, and like it was fun to make fun of. Like there was some parts that were good that I liked, like some of the action scenes. I was like, oh, that's nice. But for 4 hours, that's just like, oh my god.
I mean, in terms of length, think about like this one was 4 hours, right? But think about if you sat down and watched both the movies of the Avengers. Probably be like
Yeah,
4 hours,
but
right?
Well, and that's why it was split into two movies.
like
'Cause
each
4 hours
movie
is
of the
long.
Avenger is like has its own character arc and like character flow. So if you watch them independently, you still get one full movie. But this one, it was like you watch the first half, and you don't get anything. It's just that first half,
Look,
and you watch the second half, and then you finally get the second half.
look,
And like they
even
didn't even it's too compressed. Like just
yeah,
what are you doing?
even the extended director's cuts of the Lord of the Rings movies don't feel that long.
Yeah,
Haven't watched
those are
The Lord of
notorious
the
for
Rings
being.
in a long time.
Yeah, me neither. But I remember the feeling it's long.
Yeah, like I just I think I think Zack Snyder could have done a lot more with cutting out a lot of the junk. Like there were so many scenes that were so long. Like you didn't need to have that much time. Um, but
What was your
yeah, I
favorite
don't
scene?
know. My favorite scene I think was when in like the I don't know like the fifth hour they were fighting at the end when they were like and then Wonder Woman came in like.
And
I was
then
like,
they
oh,
played
that's
her
cool.
song, right?
Yeah. Oh, thank
When
God.
didn't they play her song?
Every scene that she was in. Ding, 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 ding. And like that was the one song I remember the most because they played it every single time she was on screen. And like in other movies you have their main themes and you have like variations on it. Like think of Into the Spider-Verse, right? You have Miles' main theme, and then every time they play his other themes, it's variations of that theme. So when you're hearing it, you still hear the main motifs, but you don't hear the exact same melody and the same
Damn,
exact
dude,
same
look-
music.
look
But
at-
this one here is just like we made this one song, we're gonna use this one song, and they
Look at
put it
you.
everywhere.
Look at you. Is he using more than a first grade vernacular?
Oh, music lot. Amazon.
It's because they gave him one song, Izzy. They asked him, "Can we have 100 songs?" They told him, "No, you already used $70 million on this movie."
we blew the budget on the slow mo.
Yeah, we got all the actors. You can only have one song, and copyrighted.
Look,
It's
this,
copyright free. Stream beats.
This movie needed much stream beats.
But I don't think, like, if they had shortened it, I think the movie would have been fun, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like a pirata version of fun. Like, you could still be enjoyable, but I think there was just too much fat on it. There was like lame decisions. Scenes were just put together. But I like some of the action. Like, the action was action, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, that's
So on the Izzy scale, and
Oh,
then
it
the
gets
normal
like a-
people scale.
if it was a regular size movie, it would get a simmering like a 5 out of 10. But because it was 4 hours long, it gets like a cut it in half. That's like a 3 out of 10. I want to give it a 3 out of 10 just to be generous, but that gets a yeah no. That's a I wouldn't tell anybody to sit through this.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like
Unless they're drunk.
we watched
drunk?
the movie, but it really felt like we really had to try. Keep watching it. I will say that the whole time
Hey, we got so
I-
far.
we did. I did say the
We
whole
got it, like-
time. Go,
Yeah.
go, go,
Okay.
go,
No,
go,
no.
go, go,
I said
Ricky. Say it.
we
Say
literally
it.
went like 10 seconds into the movie without dogging it. Alright,
I
we
was
did
gonna
not get very
say,
far.
we did not get very far before we didn't make fun of this movie.
The way I see it is, if a movie lets you dog it, then you're dogging it for a reason, right? Like, I wouldn't have dogged like Interstellar. Like, I love that movie, and I came in here wanting to like this movie, but I didn't.
DC just DC comes with a lot of baggage. Like, it's always come with a lot of baggage when it comes to
Yeah, like-
movies.
Christopher Nolan did a good job.
Okay, that's like
Christopher Nolan,
the
yes.
one great
Exception.
DC movie.
What is
I
that?
love his movies. Christopher
That's
Nolan,
The Dark
great
Knight.
director.
Dark Knight
Oh,
series.
The
okay.
whole Dark Knight.
Oh,
series.
I forgot. For Nick, you need to use first grade of Nick here and say like the action movie names.
Batman, Pew Pew, and Bane.
That was like the one great like
Mhm.
DC, and that's
Like-
because they picked like the best DC character to make because he's like the most relatable one. It's Batman.
And the
He's
most known
complex.
one, because he keeps getting movies.
Yeah, I mean. All right, Nick.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Sorry for interrupting you. I don't know what you're gonna say.
I don't know what I was gonna say, but I was gonna say that like we literally started off, and I felt like I understand what you mean, but still, like we didn't even give it like 10 minutes. We were already talking trash about the movie, and I feel like whenever you
Nick.
start talking trash about the movie, it kind of like sets the tone for the movie already. Like it's not even the movie setting the tone because movies take a little time to set tones.
Okay. To be fair for us, Nick, and in our defense, all it took was 10 minutes for it to ask for it.
You mean 10 seconds, not 10
Like-
minutes.
like you had a scene where Batman's like, I need to find Aquaman.
I need a
You don't
team.
find me. Ugh. Let me take off my shirt for you. And then the next scene, Lois Lane, in the arms of an angel. And then she puts the coffee in a precarious situation. Like, you can't keep a straight face when they're giving you these scenes. Like,
Oh,
Sarah McLaughlin was like there. I think that's her name.
the arms of
Uh,
an angel lady.
But I don't know. I did feel like we talked a lot, but I mean, I won't say like it's not like you said, like Sharknado or this movie. I think this movie was better than Sharknado.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
But like yet again, they
That's no
wasted like
part.
what $70 million or something in the budget for this movie, and they
It
put
didn't
it on
look like
HBO?
70 million.
huh?
I'm looking at the budget right now.
And-
It didn't look like it had.
yeah, 70 million. No, you're right on the money.
I saw it in the chat. Oh. 70 million to make this. Like, I mean, you could have made a lot of real steals with this much money.
Nick.
And I think that would have made more money.
And like
nobody else wants a sequel to Real Steel.
Whoa. Pacific Rim got a sequel.
Yeah, Pacific Rim didn't need one either.
Oh, don't talk about that one.
And they got an anime too. I haven't watched it.
Let's move on. What would you rate it?
What would I rate it? I feel like we haven't even talked enough about this one. It's 4 hours. We talked like 4 minutes.
Well, we have to talk about. I mean,
there's 4 hours of coverage.
Like, I mean, I will say, like, I mean, I guess, like you said, like, Superman is everything, but like, I don't know, like, it still gets annoying where it was like, wait, how is he so strong? Oh, it's Superman. I was like, no.
Like, I feel like when they brought back Superman, spoilers by the way.
We were watching the movie.
when they brought back Superman, the movie could have ended there. Like, everything after that was just like pointless filler. Because Superman could just been, pew, hey, Steppenwolf, Cass. Bam, done.
Literally.
Yeah. Also, by the time this video comes out, if they haven't seen the movie yet and they get spoiled, that's 100% their fault.
Yeah, I think plot holes didn't help it, or plot inconveniences, and the Flash tripping for no reason. You know,
the Flash. We kept talking about the Flash. The Flash, his character was like, I don't know. He felt really stupid the whole time, and he didn't do jack.
he was a flangerization of
he
him.
literally,
like, they took the one characteristic that they thought the Flash is, and they expanded on it more and more to where it doesn't resemble the Flash. Well, it does, but extreme.
But yeah, and to the point where his one contribution is like the contribution that mattered the most.
Yeah, it was like what that was the equivalent to, what is it, Doctor Strange? Or I already even forgot.
Into the multiverse.
Yeah. And going back, but I really thought that what you said, like, how you're like, oh, this is Spider-Man, like, this is Spider-Man equivalent, was like really on point.
I have words for that, but go on.
I felt like they were trying to go for a Spider-Man. Like, Marvel has a Spider-Man. We have the mother boxes. We have the gauntlet. We need a Spider-Man.
We have Thor, or we have Thor lookalike, right?
We have Greek Thor.
I guess in terms of the movie, I mean, I thought it was okay. I don't know. I give it like 4 or something. I wouldn't recommend somebody to watch it. It's too long. I mean, I usually don't care about how long a movie is, but I think there's like some movies where you're watching it and you don't feel it's long. And this one, you felt it was long.
Like Inception.
Like you go in for the ride, right? And you're carried through it. But this one, it was just like, the arrow's been flying for like 2 minutes straight. Like, when is it gonna land?
Come on, you can make it. You've almost reached the end of the movie. Come on, you can do
it. Even when we thought the movie was finished with that slow-mo moment, there was still half an hour left.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess I give it like a 3 thing, but I don't know.
People 4 to 3.
It's like a 3 or 4. You know, it just keeps like, the more I think about it, the lower it wants to go. But it's just
let him keep talking about it. It'll reach a 1 eventually.
But I don't know. If you watch this, like, I guess I really wonder. Like I said, they waste $70 million. Are they even going to make their money back on HBO? Like,
look, HBO already made their money back by like having people subscribe.
Well, but like, I guess I don't know how the rights work in terms for HBO. Does HBO own the studio that made this movie, or is that
they have a special deal with Warner Brothers? That's why you can find all the DC shows and movies in HBO.
I mean, I think it's good for HBO, but I honestly don't think even with that, like HBO definitely is like he's good. HBO is good, but
Yeah.
like the people that made this
They
movie,
didn't need it.
I don't know. Like I feel like they're probably in the negatives a lot.
They could have honestly pulled off the Disney Plus approach and like charged money for it, like how they did Mulan,
Oh my god, if they
and
did
it would
that,
have made
people
a
were
ton of
fucking
it would
pissed
have made
off.
it would have
I
made
would-
a
I
ton
would-
of money.
If we watched this movie and paid for it, that would have been even worse.
I know.
Look, man, I didn't even pay for it. I already had HBO Plus, and I'm not paying for it.
And he's like, it already hurts.
We can thank AT&T for that movie. Just
Thank
saying.
you, AT&T. Sponsored.
Sponsored by.
AT&T.
All right. I'll let Ricky talk now.
I feel like we're gonna keep talking even after everybody's done said their word.
I mean,
I
okay.
feel like there's much to talk about.
There's a lot.
I know Andy was saying that, like, as soon as the movie started, like, it was deserved to be like made fun of.
No, it was asking for it, not
It was
deserved.
okay, it was asking for it. Whatever it may be. I don't know. It's really hard to gauge a movie when we're making fun of it literally for 4 hours straight. I kid you not, we were making fun of it for 4 hours straight.
No,
it had some good parts.
You see, that's a lie because we watched the first part in like an hour and a half, and then we watched 15 minutes of it. Took like an hour break, and then watched the rest.
I'm talking about like 4 hours of like that it was actually played. We made fun of it.
Okay, you see that I won't argue, but you said 4 hours straight. Let's be honest, we didn't watch it 4 hours straight.
And then that's not including how much we're making fun of it now, how much we're making fun of it during the breaks. I mean, we're accumulating like
We're
about
making fun of it.
5-6 hours of making fun of it. I was kind of like everyone else. I wanted to come and I wanted to enjoy the movie. I knew nothing of it. I didn't know it did well. I didn't know it did bad. But like I mentioned earlier, DC had always come with this baggage or the stigma of like being poorly done. Other than the Dark Knight series.
Thank you for making that distinction.
Yeah, the animation ones are actually pretty good.
Oh,
and
I like the animation ones. I think those are much better done.
They're like the animations are usually really good. But when it comes to live action, Izzy and I think everyone else agrees that they kind of dropped the ball on a lot of them.
Except you, Christopher Nolan. We love you.
Oh, you have my heart, Christopher.
I will say the movies have gotten better. Like Man of Steel was better than all the previous Supermans, but that's not saying much because all the other ones were really bad.
And then I actually liked Man of Steel. I thought that was a good, not good, but I thought it was an okay action movie. Like I watched it and I was like, hey, this is what Dragon Ball is supposed to be like. So I liked it.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
No, don't talk about that one.
That's Izzy's taboo.
I mean, just to come making a live action Superman is pretty hard in itself because everyone makes fun of Superman because no one really likes Superman. What's it called? But like even Wonder Woman was the first. I haven't seen the second one, but the first one was actually pretty good. And then all the other DC movies that have yet to come out.
Okay.
The issues.
Wonder Woman can be argued, at least the first one. I don't know about the second one. I didn't watch it either. Can be argued it followed the Captain America formula.
Yes.
Almost like right on the money. Which kind of explained why it was good.
Yeah, I mean, they don't exactly have the same character like origin story, but like as far as like the arc of the story is like very similar. They're immortal and they lived during the same time period, so it was all kind of the same.
Fought Nazis.
Yeah,
they fought Nazis. That didn't help the movie was just so similar to Marvel. Like you can't watch this movie without thinking Marvel, and then being like, like,
well, Ricky, say it. Ricky, say it.
Okay,
say it,
so they're going.
Wait, let Ricky talk. He has something.
Let Ricky talk.
I was gonna say, like, when it comes to superhero movies, especially ones that include like a large number of superheroes, is there really any other formula Like you have to make movies that encompass like different characters. You have to make their own movies so that you can
Mhm.
actually know the background story and know, details of the universe and how it kind of
Like set
connects.
things up first before just mother boxes randomly or all over the place. And
Yeah.
like I think that's what it suffered with the most. The fact that it didn't have any separate movies, or it had two, three, I guess, whether Superman and
But it
Wonder
didn't
Woman were.
connect them.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was just like, let me write this one episode, let me write this other episode. Ooh, the director wants something together. Mother boxes, right here. And then like
Wait,
everything
let's
felt like it was
also
just
make a
coming out of nowhere.
gauntlet.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
It,
Well, it had a
it
different
was
purpose,
it was
but it was a gauntlet.
never it was okay. The gauntlet was totally different. Let's stop
Yeah,
making the gauntlet joke.
Yeah. But they did have a stone on Cyborg's head, just saying.
And they had boxes
Electronic android who was
that
incredibly
combined together.
Yeah.
cubes,
Uh,
some would say.
So yeah, I mean, like you were saying, like the whole the movies weren't connected well, like they
Mhm.
like they were in Marvel. So they followed the formula. They just didn't do a good job of following the
Right.
formula. It's like they
They're
had the
copying the homework.
answers, but they,
They didn't
you
show
know,
their work.
yeah, I don't know. Um,
But like,
Yeah.
so
they can make
I
something
think
different, right? Like they don't have to make something that they collect things together and then like
they could come up with any
like
other like threat,
So
not like new
so
super threat that
I
Superman.
I don't know if this is based off of any actual storyline, but as far as going with like, oh, it's very like Marvel. The thing with these two like comic brands, they are very like similar and they take a lot from each other. Because it's like you can argue the
Mhm.
whole like, oh, like Hyperion and so from like the Marvel side borrowed from Superman, or like Deadpool is pretty much Deathstroke and stuff like that. And a lot of their like main plots are very like follow similar
Yeah.
arcs, but they like do it their own ways. At least in the comics, do. Um, I have no excuses for the movies, but you know, if you want to do it like unbiasedly, like for the fact that they have like a ton of simulators, mine is like the ones that we're like stretching to make jokes on. Or like they you can't really blame them too much for it.
yeah, I think another issue. So the whole green screen was not great, unfortunately. Also, I agree more with Andy as far as the Flash not being like Spider-Man.
Thank you.
I mean, I think the way they put the way they designed him in the movie was kind of like Spider-Man, but that's not the way the Flash is supposed to be portrayed. I don't think that was an accurate depiction of the Flash.
Yeah, I think they took the exaggerated parts, but like I feel like in he's a flirty, wise guy type of guy, which
Yeah.
Spider-Man sort of is.
but he's very white.
And then
No,
in this one,
well,
it was just
Well,
extreme.
I
Like,
wouldn't call Spider-Man the ladies guy.
no,
not the
Spider-Man's
flirty
more
part,
like
the wise guy.
awkward, like nerdy,
Awkward wise guy.
and
Well.
oh, he is
Peter
white. He's
Parker-
he's a white guy.
Peter Parker is nerdy
Oh.
and awkward, but when he's Spider-Man, he's just like wise guy.
Yeah.
Barry Allen in
They're
the
the same
Flash
character.
in this movie didn't have like any distinction. He was like the whole like I'm gonna try and be funny, but I failed, so I'm like end up being
Mhm.
really awkward and
Just cringe.
kind of like and very cringy. And he was like that all the way through. Now, if they would have done that for like, oh, when he's Barry Allen, and then been like he's a goofball kind of like class clown thing when he's just a Flash, but he's not like super awkward, then okay, I would have given it to you. But
I think that's what they tried going for, but it just didn't land, and they took one characteristic and that's it, which
Yeah.
was the cringe.
And then there's just like I know it's a movie, so things don't always make sense in movies. Like when the Flash, like when the Flash didn't pick people up like to save them, like he didn't run them outside, even though like in any like animated And any animated, any like live action movies, like he usually picks people up and takes them places.
Yeah.
So why
And
didn't
then
he do that
how
there? He was literally
all the rocks
useless.
were
Like he did
falling.
nothing.
I think at
Rocks
one
were
point he
falling.
was just literally
All
just
that?
running ahead and being like, "All right, everybody follow me. Everybody follow me."
Yeah.
Yeah, he would go one flight upstairs and be like, "All right, everybody, it's safe. Keep going."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like,
And, like,
what use for?
how did if he's as fast as Superman, how did Steppenwolf like even touch him? Like he could just go, "Hey, Steppenwolf, hey buddy." Done.
I don't know.
Uh,
And then,
Oh, that armor was pretty powerful, apparently.
Not in his face.
and then what? Cyborg like didn't fly people when he was trying to like rescue them. He was literally just like helping a guy up. Like I think he was like just like having him lean on him. I'm like, dude,
With his
just carry
2
the
arms
guy.
instead of his 3
yeah,
for 4 arms.
yeah, he had 4 arms.
He
Could
did have
carry
4
4
arms.
people.
I totally forgot about the 4 arms. Barry Allen didn't heal quickly. He healed quickly in one scene, but he did not heal quickly in another scene.
It's because it wasn't important, Ricky. Like he didn't
He didn't
want
need to
to
heal, so
heal.
he wasn't like.
Yeah. As far as him tripping, I don't really have like beef with that because I've seen him trip in like a lot of like shows. Like he trips quite often, I feel like.
It just felt like and the scene where he's running at the speed of light and the fucker just shoots him. Like, how do you shoot
at the
this
speed of
man?
light.
Yeah,
You gotta give this guy a medal for being a universe class sniper shooting the Flash. But I felt like
yeah.
they wanted to nerf him, so they just put these as excuses to nerf him. They were like, "Oh, he can't have him go super fast, so he trips. We can't have him be perfect, so we shoot him."
I think those are his.
And
Like normally even. Like he has to trip because what else can we do for him? I mean, there's
I
other
felt
things
that
they
defense.
do for him, like other enemies that counteract his speed and stuff or abilities.
Like maybe put a slippery surface under him. I don't know, do something more creative.
Be real. All that guy did was teleport and get the boxes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing. The whole like concept of DC making a better villains.
Yeah.
They didn't do a good job of that in this movie. I don't know. Maybe Darkseid will be better because we really didn't see much of him. We pretty much just saw his lackey the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like at least Thanos, we knew what he wanted to do like early on in the films, right? And like in the previous films, they would like tease Thanos and be like, "Oh, I gotta end the Earth because it's overpopulated." And he didn't actually do anything, but we knew what he wanted to do, and we knew what his lackeys were trying to do for him. And then on the Avengers movies, they like expanded him. Like he spoke and be like, "Do you really think that you could save this world by letting this many people live?" And like he made a sort of an understandable argument from his perspective. But this guy, at least what we saw from the main boy, was like, bad. Give me the boxes.
Bad.
And for the fact that they had 4 hours to talk about this, like I feel like they could have added a little more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just didn't do a good job about the whole lore and describing the universes or the
I think
things.
I think the
around
Joker
movie
was more
characters.
fleshed out in the 5 minutes he was on screen
Yes.
than any of the other villains in the movie.
And that's coming from Jared Leto, Joker, who I hated in Suicide Squad, but at least in this he was tolerable. At least in this he resembled the Joker, like
Without the
playing around
tattoos.
with Batman. Yeah. Although I don't know if he's
tattoos.
damaged or not. Like, is he the Joker or is he like?
He just like
not
makeup, but makeup to clean off the tattoos.
He's
Yeah,
so damaged, he's not damaged.
Oh my god.
But he grew out his hair though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I think this is already known by everyone, especially those watching this video. Superman is just way overpowered.
So overpowered, it's stupid. I honestly don't even like watching Superman movies because every time I still question it. I'm like, why? Why can't you just? Why didn't the
Like,
movie just end when you like came out? It should have just finished already.
they brought him back. They were like, he's confused. Oh, my auto attack. I'm attacking the worst, most powerful being in the earth because that's safer than putting my hands down. Like, what kind of logic is this?
Well, to be fair on that part, which this is me like having to stretch it to like defend that moment. But they did say that like his whole robotic side came from the mother box, and they made a whole point. And like when I say they made a whole point, they like emphasized the fuck out of it that the boxes were afraid of Superman. So
But
he's like, oh my god, my body's reacting to danger, and it's like pulling his gun, and it's like, oh yeah, well, good to know
just
that your
don't
human
shoot me.
side isn't in control of your computer side. You know, Alt F4 or error 404, like onto freaking willpower.
And then like as soon as you brought him back, you have like an hour probably. I don't know how long it was. Like that you could just end. Like you didn't need the rest of this movie as soon as he was back. Like
Uh,
like what was he doing when they were doing everything else? Like he was just hanging out with
He
Lois
was-
Lane. Like,
It's because Batman never brought up Martha.
oh yeah, one key point.
what's it called? Yeah, he was gone for what, like an hour, maybe
Yeah.
more,
Like,
hour and a half.
hour and a half.
The whole plan was to bring him back to save the world, and then they bring him back, and he's not here.
I really
was-
don't know what he was doing for that hour and a half.
I was
Fucking
waiting for her
hilarious.
to like pull out
She's
the whole
horny.
like I'm pregnant.
I know
yeah,
because
that-
they
what is
reference
that
the thing
thing?
there.
Yeah, they
is this
definitely
for
put
a
that.
later scene? I guess later movie.
Product placement, also. Just saying,
Mercedes Benz.
Mercedes Benz.
I just bought mine right now because of this movie. It sold me on it.
Another thing that also bothered me is that Lex Luthor found out who Batman was, but Cyborg, a guy who has access to literally all the information, could not figure it out.
He
He didn't
did,
even
he-
know if he
he knew.
existed.
Oh, okay. Oh,
He said
Yeah,
that.
like I
That's
have
fair.
to admit.
But he knew Diana. He knew like everything about her. He must have like stalked her Facebook in like the 2 minutes like they were off screen because he's like, oh, Diana, 5,000 years old, Amazon. I know all
Size
about your
42.
people. And then like he turns around and he's like, Alfred, and like, do I know you?
Yeah,
I'm
there's just
sure
inconsistencies like
Batman
that.
had a Facebook page that other people posted pictures on.
Off to kill General Zod.
Oh, his batarang is like a selfie camera. Just oh, the bat selfie stick.
Out of this compartment.
As you can imagine how much we were laughing during this movie because of this scene.
It was hard to take
Also,
seriously.
that 5,000 year line was probably like the funniest, like the Flash actually was.
I think
like
Flash
that.
had 2 jokes that I liked, and I can't remember the other one.
the
That
other one was
actually was
later on in the
closely
movie.
in line with his character.
Yeah, the other one was like
Yeah.
later on in the movie, and I'm like, that actually made me chuckle, and now I can't even remember what it was.
There isn't. I mean, there's a lot of things that bother me. I could probably go on and say like the inconsistencies that bothered me.
I think my biggest gripe is just how long it was, because they had so many unnecessary scenes that they could have taken out, and if they condensed it all into a regular sized movie, it would still feel rushed, but it'd at least feel like a typical action movie, and I could give it a higher rating because it was like,
Nick's
you
like,
know,
no.
you're doing a movie. Like,
Okay. How long has this been going on, Nick?
We're at
Well, we still need my
35.
part.
45. Okay. I say we also like let's all go around and mention something we did like about the movie because literally we said everything that we did.
I need my part though, Ricky. You need
Okay,
to say
but-
your overall score, and I need to say my part.
Okay. Raw score. I'll give it a 4. Only because I feel like I didn't give it the best possible chance of even doing better by making fun of it. Um, and so I'll give it a 4, and I'll keep it at a 4 until
What are you trying to say?
I would say until I watch it again, but I probably won't.
Is that
watch
ever gonna
it again.
happen?
4
So,
hours. I'd rather watch
Yeah.
how many? That's 8 episodes of anime.
Nick would rather rewatch One Piece than watch this.
Oh baby.
And One Piece probably has less percentage of filler than this movie.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. But I guess for me, and I know we've made a lot of comments, and I'm pretty sure you know where I'm gonna go with this rating. But your water bottle. Oh my god.
It's the same one.
But I'm gonna preface
Whoa,
with
twinsies!
Sorry, we'll take it off. We'll edit this out, but oh my god, it's the same one.
I'm gonna.
Did you
I'm
get it
gonna
at
go ahead.
Walmart? Yeah, for like $2, right? It was a deal.
Okay, sorry, Andy. You can continue.
So I'm gonna preface mine with what everybody said. I maybe not really hard, but I tried to like it. I went in with like, oh, everybody says this is amazing, it's gonna be great, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have a lot of hope because of all the other DC movies, so I'm like, I'm hopeful, but I'm not expecting anything fantastic. But yeah, one of the biggest gripes was the cinematography choices, just the music, the slow-mo, the timings for the scenes. Maybe unlike how Izzy said, you can, although I do feel like you could have removed entirely some of the scenes, but honestly, if you really needed them in, you could condense some of those like 30-minute scenes into like 5 minutes, have the same effect, and move on.
I agree.
For a lot. Like, I probably would have liked it better in that case. They tried to cram way too much into it. Like they had to do all this exposition that like didn't even make sense. Until maybe like the very end. It's like very unnecessary. It's like not even like watching a Lord of the Rings movies. It's like reading the Lord of the Rings book where you have like 5 chapters of exposition and telling you about like how fancy the forest is, and you're like,
but at least that serves a purpose to set up the world. This here was just
they tried to do, but it's kind of like a kid trying to ace his test, so he overstudies it. So like studies the whole textbook when the teacher clearly said, "I'm only testing you on chapter 1 through 3," and he studies the entire textbook for it. And he's like, "Oh my god, I have all this information. I don't need all of it. I'm still gonna I'm gonna whole ace this essay." And like the essay was like written with all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, the teacher's like, yeah, I didn't. This is not the question I asked you.
You could take off all this chunk and have the movie here.
And honestly, it could have been a lot better. Tone down the slow mo. There were scenes that were good. Like, don't get
I like
me
some
wrong.
of the action scenes.
I wouldn't say they were like amazing, but there were like some and purely entertaining parts to the movie.
I think the action scenes in general were better than generic action movie scenes because it wasn't just bam bam, this guy's dead. It at least had some like choreography in it.
Well, and then we have that first scene with Wonder Woman where she's like dancing, blocking all the bullets.
My god, I
forgotten about that scene. It goes down to point. Bad.
You didn't need all of that. Like, yes, she's capable of it, but you could have done this whole thing of, him shooting at the crowd and her just standing in front of it, just kind of doing like the whole like how she does in the cartoon, right? Not like this whole like crouching, spinning, and like crouching tiger, hidden dragon stuff.
Shit or something.
I thought the crouching was okay. Like I didn't have a problem with it, but like the fact that she goes up to fucking explode the bomb, and then the guy's like, "Looks like I have to do this myself in 1, 2, 3," and now she's back. Like you could have just Scooby Doo plop plop. Like why are you taking so long? Like aren't you in a hurry? And then she does the thingamabobbers and causes structural damage to the entire place, probably hurting all the police on the bottom. When you could have just gone, bam.
Yeah. And then
I might drop a point just for that scene. Like,
then to reinforce what everybody else said, it had a villain problem. honestly, everybody's like, "Oh my god, Marvel has a villain problem," and this movie has shown obviously it's not just a Marvel problem; it is generally a superhero problem. Although some of Marvel's
I don't.
villains had more personality than Steppenwolf.
But like,
He's
Steppenwolf.
I feel like as he said, like the villains in Marvel, we usually like get built up on or something. We get something on, but like this guy's, at least as far as I know, we didn't know jack shit. They came out of nowhere. They like is an alien,
Yeah,
just literally
yeah.
came out of
Like the
dimension Z
closest
Y
one
Z.
to like the closest one to this guy is Hammer Boy from Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like he's like, I'm here to get the Infinity Stone for Thanos. But then once he has it, he's like, I'm gonna turn on Thanos. So like he at least had some like depth to him a little bit. Like he wasn't just here Thanos.
Yeah,
But
well,
like
I'm gonna admit, overall, Marvel did have a bit. You know, Thanos is a little bit different, and maybe like Mysterio wasn't like as two dimensional.
mhm.
But a lot of the Marvel villains do have that problem. They're very like cut and dry. They're very static. There's not a lot of life to them. Which, yeah, I admit and I understand. I mean, I still like the movies, but yeah, there was an issue there. But Steppenwolf, especially for being like the main villain going on, did not have anything going on. Like legit, Jared Leto and his Joker was more well defined and rounded in the 5 minutes he was in the movie
Yeah.
than Steppenwolf with his 4 hours.
And it's not like they don't have the time to give him a scene explaining him, like clearly with 4 hours.
Yeah. Which I don't know if it was Gunn's decision in Suicide Squad or what, but Jared Leto really stepped up to the plate in this one, and he did a much better job with Joker.
I
Uh,
don't think his Joker issue in Suicide Squad was his fault.
No,
I
and
think it
that's
was the
why.
director's fault.
And that's why. It's just like just the way they were trying to use him. I
It
mean,
was not.
the same scenes could have happened. It's just the way they created his character for the movie just didn't fit all that well. Like, I'm not blaming Jared Leto for that at all. It just, they gave him this chance in this movie, and he really stepped up to the plate and he knocked it out.
I just
In
want to
five
say,
minutes.
I think it was.
I was gonna say, I enjoyed Suicide Squad more. That's just me. I know everybody dogs on Suicide Squad, but personally,
Honestly,
I
I did
enjoyed that
too.
movie better than this.
Suicide Squad was good. It wasn't fantastic, but it was okay.
Good.
It was okay.
I wouldn't say it was good. I think it had style going for it, but substance was clearly missing. But it was a generic action movie. Like
Yeah.
that's the biggest benefit I can give it. Generic
Yeah.
action movie. This was generic, really long action.
And honestly, they could have ended it without the epilogue.
Or maybe just like a shortened down version of it. Like
I
They
mean,
should have just
but
done the last 4 minutes.
The whole future scene to just like reiterate the fact that they've said already 4 times in the movie that like, oh, Lois Lane is the key, and then they're like, oh yeah, because she's the one that reawakened Superman, and Batman's like, no, it's much darker. I mean, okay, we get it. That's foreshadow, but leave it for the future. You don't have to go do this whole future scene where like, oh, the possibility. It's like, this is what happens if Lois Lane dies. It's like, there's no need to go all injustice on it.
Like, you know how Marvel has the end scenes at the end of movies? That epilogue was a really long end scene. Like,
They should have
shorten
put
it down
it
to a little
after-
Marvel end scene,
after
and
the
then you're good.
I mean,
Dude,
it was long. It wasn't as good or as informational as, you know, I think they wanted it to be. Or I don't know if they were just like, oh, here's like a little bonus round for you guys. But I would have enjoyed it a lot more if it just ended with everybody doing the superhero poses like at the end. Like, you clearly wanted to end it there. That's why they're all posing. That's why they had the little like monologue going on in the background. It's just like, just end it there. They obviously practiced for it. They did a freeze frame after a slow motion. End it. Don't come back. I mean, if you want to have everybody come out and bow because they're like, oh my God, the Zack Snyder cut, you know? But I don't know. That whole epilogue was unnecessary. I think they just wanted to use the clips with like Batman in the desert from like the original cut or something.
I like the epilogue, but like if they would have played the epilogue without playing the rest of the movie, I'd be like, oh, that's a good movie.
Okay,
So-
okay. I guess okay. I guess I need to specify the whole dream sequence with like the future was totally unnecessary. The whole like, oh, Lex Luthor being like out of jail, and the whole like, you know, Deathstroke coming in to like see Lex Luthor, that was good. That was good. The whole dream thing wasn't needed. I think like Martian Manhunter just wanted to come out one more time in the movie. That they were just like, you know, we hired him for like 2 hours. We only used him for like 30 minutes. Might as well like get our money's worth for it.
I would have liked to see more Martian Manhunter. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know who
I
that
felt like
is.
he could have been more creative in what you could do with his powers, but instead he just was a
Well,
therapist.
Martian Manhunter is
Which
usually
makes
more
sense.
of like he's used as like more of an espionage character,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like intel gathering, kind of like a
Which
a
he did help
stronger
out.
Batman.
He did help out
a
with Lois
therapist.
Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept her alive.
That's probably like the one Lois Lane scene that made sense.
Was she gonna take pills to kill herself? Is that what was going on?
And she was just depressed, and she wasn't like leaving the apartment.
I don't think they like explicitly.
Because
did
if
some
she
suicide.
hadn't left, she wouldn't have seen
pregnant.
Superman when he was outside. And if she hadn't seen Superman outside, Superman would have just like kicked everyone's ass and killed half the city until Batman was like, Martha.
And then he still would have saved the day because, you know.
Yeah.
What do you
Although
get?
I would have liked to see Green Lantern there, you know, one that wasn't dead.
Yeah,
There's
all
a
Green Lanterns
billion
showed
Green
up,
Lanterns. There would have been
like-
one, right?
And then also they had like
God,
the
man.
worst Green Lantern. It's like, okay, man, you're supposed to be able to use the power of will to make anything you imagine with the power of the lantern. You're just fucking shooting laser beams out of your ring. Like, come on, man. Are you like a noob?
He's not very
Yeah.
creative.
But yeah. What do I give it? I probably in a 1 out of 10 scale, I'd give it a 3.
Hey,
Now, if they did a corrected Snyder cut that was a lot shorter, and they made scenes that was they fixed it, that they were cut out all the unnecessary stuff, you know, maybe, and it's pushing it, I'd give it a 6. But as it is now,
Josh?
it gets a 3.
Listen, Josh Whedon's Snyder's Justice League. Cut.
What if we just call it Justice?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like at the very end where they're like, oh, they had to like straight up just say, this is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, okay, we get it. Like, all anybody's been saying for the last couple months is, oh, the Snyder cut.
So why didn't we actually get like the Justice League? Like after all this, like, you know, their happy family protected.
They're not.
I don't know. DC's very edgy right now.
Also, they don't have the money that Shield has, so they can't have like 10 fancy bases all over.
Damn, Shield, you know, they get 10 seasons, you know?
Yeah. Also, I'm going to introduce, in honor of Izzy, I'm going to introduce my special scale for movie ratings. Call it the Andy scale. A for awesome, N for nice. D for doubt.
I thought he was gonna say that's I.
That's
It was gonna be along those lines, and I changed it last minute, to be honest. And Y for like, yikes.
Okay, I like it.
So,
That's a good one. I'll talk to my people at IMBD and we'll get it into the system.
oh yes. But so I know we've all talked your ear off, but for a 4-hour movie, we had a lot to say, and if you let us, we'll probably keep doing it. Maybe if you in the comments ask Nick, we'll have like a special like live talk about the movie, and we'll
We
interact with
freaking
people.
stream for fucking 4 hours talking
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I mean we could. I mean, message in the comments, and Nick will set it up.
Wait. I know we should
You
end
gotta
it,
see
but
the-
Ricky asked for a very specific thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ricky
Yeah,
asked,
talk about
what was your favorite part of the movie, Andy? Go.
My favorite part of the movie.
Don't say the ending.
And don't say the coffee.
I wasn't gonna say that. Honestly, no, I didn't like that part.
Alright, is it?
I honestly like the scene where they kind of like introduced Cyborg, and they were like when he was like his powers, and he was like listening to the recorder from the dead. Yes, Ricky, it was something that we watched on Sunday. It happened.
yes.
I know you looked like you were trying to remember, where he was like all depressed, and the dad's like, "Oh, if you won't look at me, at least listen to me." And he leaves a recorder there, and he's like, "Oh, explaining his powers," and it's like, "Oh, you have the ability to do everything you ever wanted, and if you had one chance, would you get everything you ever wanted, or would you just
One
let it go?"
opportunity.
Nick, I'm trying not to get DMCA'd. Yeah, that was just like a good part. That one was like a legit. The movie should have been more like that. That was like a legit feel good moment. It introduced the character, gave him a sense of purpose, while explaining what he did, like all in one package. Like that's what the movie should have been like.
See?
Okay, I got two. The pyramid scene where the Amazons are trying to like hold everything off because it was so funny. Like, I gotta hold it off. Let me go to this side, not the side where I'm safe.
Oh my
Let
gosh.
me, let me oh, dying. I guess I'll just wait here. Let this guy catch up. Okay, now I can start running. Like so many plot holes made that whole scene funny. But if I was saying like something that I actually liked about the movie was I actually liked the costume designs. I liked how they were done. I think they all fit the characters, and I think they didn't look like bad CG except for Cyber. Everybody that had physical
And Martian
costumes, I
Manhunter
liked.
looked kind of bad too, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Anybody who had physical costumes, I liked. I felt like they were actual costumes that they would wear, and like if you transition the animation to real life, and I like that. And then maybe the action scene towards the end where they're kind of working together, even though narratively it doesn't quite make that much sense. But I'm not talking about that right now. So I think that like I enjoyed the action part of that scene.
Yeah,
Nick?
I think my favorite part was probably just some scenes at the end, like towards the end, the fight scenes, like when Batman was driving his car and stuff.
Yeah, I like that scene.
And whenever they put like the rock songs on Aquaman,
And then Wonder Woman comes out.
He always had a rock song.
even though I honestly don't like Aquaman. I feel like
Aquaman
he's
for the
such
first
useless.
time. For the
He always
first
has to
time,
spread
he was
out.
useful out of water.
I know, and I was also
He
honestly
did
very
really
confused. I
water
was like, why weren't
activity.
you this good underwater?
That's your element.
I was gonna say like,
Uh,
okay, given Aquaman, he's like obviously enhanced while he's in the water. What powers does he have like outside of the water other than like superhuman
I think
strength?
he's just
He has a
strong.
trident.
He can.
I think he
I
can
think he's
still talk to
strong and-
fish.
When he's outside the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He can
Yeah.
stop water if it comes to him.
yeah.
Steppenwolf is like
If it's
passing a
raining, he can
Petco.
keep people dry. So that's useful.
Only
so.
for a little bit amount of time. Because remember,
dude.
when that water was coming, you only stopped it for a little bit.
Yeah, dude. People can catch a cold, man. That's not funny.
But that's the second thing I liked. Uh, I honestly enjoyed like those little sections at the end that we're saying we shouldn't have, but I felt like those, like when they introduced, like you said, like those bad guys at the end. I felt like that scene was a lot better and more interesting than most of the movie. or like the scene where they did the other dimension, like the other side of things, that looked like that could have been a lot more fun than what we watched.
Yeah. The only reason I don't like it is because it was at the end of a 4-hour movie, and you're still adding more stuff on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I'm just saying, like, those scenes felt like they made a lot more
Completely.
sense than the whole thing we just watched.
All right. So if I'm not including the epilogue, which I already said that I enjoyed, um, what's it called? I would say I enjoyed.
Credits.
No, let's cop out, Nick.
Some of the fight scenes were cool, I guess.
You have to guess.
I don't know, man. The fight scenes are just a lot of slow mo. Oh, actually, when what's it called? Actually, the fight scene where the Flash went speed of light for the first time. Not when he got hit by the laser, but when he's like touching the sword
When
and
he's
giving
in
it back to
Speed
Wonder
Force?
Woman, and
Oh
he
yeah,
trips.
before he trips.
Before he trips, that whole scene was kind of cool. I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. Because this is the only
Yeah.
time slow mo actually makes sense. Because he's actually like, he's supposed to be
Yeah.
slow mo. Like the
And
entire slow mo scenes should have just been devoted to the Flash.
Flash. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so upset when he tripped and that whole scene ends, because it's like it's the only way you can stop him because he trips.
So
Yeah.
when that scene happened, all I thought of was, I think it's Wolverine. Whenever,
Quicksilver scene.
yes, he just goes around, eats a sandwich, and then he's like, okay, I guess I'll do
But
something.
that makes so much more sense in that one, because he's like, oh, I gotta pick someone, and then I take him out. I go over here, I stop the bullets, I eat a sandwich in character, I go get another person, I save everyone, and I'm like, hey guys, come up here. Another flight of stairs, guys. Come on up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or like, you know what would have been perfect? Like, you know how Batman like was, I guess, struggling to fight. He's like, go help them. It's like, okay, done. He should have done that. It's like, but now what? Like that would have been funny and that would have been good.
And it would have
Yeah.
made sense too.
Yeah.
You're like super
Like,
fast. Like it should
take
take you a
care of
second to go freaking take him outside and go help Batman while you're at it.
it. Yeah.
Hey,
Like that
Zack
would
Snyder,
actually
you're
would have been
doing
funny.
ideas?
It would have been like a perfect scene.
It would have been in character. It would have made sense narratively. It would have made logical sense. It wouldn't have been stupid, for one.
Yeah.
Oh.
um but yeah, that didn't happen. So I would say my favorite scene was when he first goes really fast. Well, actually, the first scene he goes really fast is when he saves that girl.
Yeah, which was a terrible scene.
Yeah, it wasn't
I
that great.
liked the speedy part of it where he like moves and he breaks his shoes and like everything else. But then it was
But breaking the
everything else after
glass
that.
was unnecessary. Like he's moved so fast, he literally could have opened the door and like ran out.
I agree.
I think that would still break the glass.
He spent like 10 hours staring at the girl in like the creepiest way possible.
Yeah, well, that part I was like, what?
And there was a
It's
hot
like-
dog?
And it's like I felt uncomfortable with the way you looked at that girl.
And like this girl's fucking thirsty. She's driving, like not paying attention to the road. Girl, like, what are you doing?
It's like, let's be honest, you're better
You
off
never
without
avoided the
him.
whole situation.
He's probably gonna get
Right,
you killed
quickly.
twice, and then he's gonna make new timelines because of it.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
I don't know.
so yeah, that was my favorite scene.
And that's why it's so hard to take the movie seriously
Yeah.
from the
so,
first 3 minutes of this movie.
So that was the SSG cut of the
The
Justice
Zack Snyder
League.
Justice League cut of Zack
The
Yeah,
reviews.
at the end of it, Nick, put SSG cut. And then, so also,
SSG's movie review.
And just because the other one was because the movie was 4 hours, we had to make this one long too. So.
Well, yeah, this is a two-parter. This is a 2-in-1.
yeah, this is the 2-in-1. I will say people should mention in the comments if Andy should change his D rating from doubtful
That's
to
aight.
that's high, because I think that's hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know
Everyone in the
about that.
comments can push for that. Just say
If it comes to that, I'm getting rid of the whole Andy system.
All right, yeah. Well, thanks for watching. If you stick around for this much, we really appreciate it.
Remember, if you guys want to see us live keep talking about this movie or any other movie for that matter, tell Nick in the comments. We'll figure something out.
And type Zazai
and
in
if
the
we're wrong-
comments.
we'll do a Twitch review.
live. And if we're wrong and this movie's actually good, please let us know why. Because I'm having a hard time figuring it out.
And we'll let you know while you're around.
If you haven't just watched the 1 hour of us, why?
Oh my gosh.
But bye. Thank you.
Bye.